Hey guys, welcome to Autumn's Time. Today I'm going to teach you guys how to make bone broth. I already made my chicken tonight and torn it apart, and all the extras are in the pot, so all the bones and the extra meat is on the bones, and I put in the fat because all the extra herbs are on there, and then the broth that we made, the extra broth from when the chicken was made, is in there as well. And we just need to add a couple extra things before we get that started. Okay, so first we're gonna add about a tablespoon to 2 tablespoons of white vinegar. That's to get all the goodness from the bone. And then wash, of course, first. A couple carrots, 2-3 carrots, 2-3 stalks of celery. You don't need to peel them. Just make sure they're washed really good. I don't know why I just broke those in half when I have a knife right here. And just throw those in the pot. Okay. Then cut an onion. Easiest way is to cut both ends off. That's a super rough cut. And then just cut through that first layer on 2 sides, the opposite sides of the onion, and then that peels right off. And then just quarter it. And then toss it in. And then on my chicken, I put salt and pepper, a little olive oil, rosemary and thyme. And then I added a couple basil leaves to this for the bone broth. Ignore how much chicken is left on the bone. I was a little lazy tonight. But you see the fill line on that. You don't want anything, the water past that, because you're going to fill that up to that line. You can see this is just thrown in, literally just thrown in as you saw me do. So we're just going to take this right out and fill it up to the full line. Put it back in. As always, you're going to want to make sure your seal is all the way around. However your pressure cooker is, whichever pressure cooker you're using. And close that, make sure your pressure is set to off. And then high pressure for 2 hours. And you're just gonna let that simmer. Once your bone broth is cooked for 2 hours and has decompressed, I do recommend letting it decompress on its own. Otherwise, when you release it, it kind of makes a mess because it is full. The liquid tends to come out a bit. So it's just better to let it decompress by itself. So I do recommend not starting this late at night like I did. It is quite late right now. You're just going to strain it. If you don't have the strainer attachment for your pressure cooker, then you just use a strainer into a bowl. And you're just going to let this cool to a reasonable temperature, and then it smells really good. Then we'll cover it and put it in the fridge, and then I'll show you the next step. I don't like putting fat and bones and that kind of fun stuff directly into my garbage, just because it starts stinking a little bit. So as I skim this excess fat off the top of my bone broth, I'm just putting it in as a block just to get that fun stuff in a safe environment. This has cooled overnight, and I have a handy dandy lid for my Instapot container that I just got on Amazon. Okay, so this does make very yummy soups. So there is a good reason for making broth out of your carcasses, even though it isn't the most appealing thing to do. It is yummy. And what I'm actually going to be doing with it later is I'm going to be making some pot pies with my bone broth that we'll be posting later. So what I do is I measure it out into the Ziploc. That way, when I freeze it and I have thought to use it for a recipe, I know how much is in there. Sometimes I do it a couple of times. Most of the time I do it a couple of times, but I have specific recipes in mind for this specific bone broth. So this one is going to get 2 cups of broth. And then you're going to want to get all the air out of it. And then I take a sheet pan and I lay it out flat, and then I go put it in my big freezer in my garage, or your normal freezer, whatever you have. And when you freeze it like this, it stacks really nicely flat or on the side, and it just takes up less space in your freezer. So I'm gonna finish this off real quick.